Okay, so minasan konnichiwa. I'm restarting this because it started only on Twitter. So for you on Twitter, I really apologize, but you have to watch it twice, the first part. And I think now it's also live on YouTube. I would like everyone to confirm that I'm also live on YouTube. And I will be going through likely I've just started 5 minutes ago, but I will go through today's agenda again for everyone that was waiting for me to start on YouTube. Sorry about that, but I started saying huge thank you for all of you sending me all the questions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these and my other videos to support my work, support my channel. I think it's very, very important for me if you can do so. What I want to do today in order to start, thanks for Matrix and everyone else confirming that I'm finally live on YouTube as well. What I want to start with is actually reviewing the info that we got so far on from the Japanese government, from immigration, since actually they answer already a lot of the questions I've received. So I think it's important to start with official information first, and then I will go through the Q&A of the questions received. I've received over 200 questions at the end, I think, summing up, Twitter and YouTube. So it's a lot of them. I put them together. I, kind of remove the duplicate questions, and I will go answering that. And then if there is still time, still have some energies, I will do some live Q&A at the end with you if there is still something unanswered. So konnichiwa again, everyone. I see a lot of you here already, under 20 plus, and a lot of questions. I won't have much time at the beginning to read the live chat, but please comment each other. Maybe, you can discuss each other about what I'm saying. I think that's also very important. At the end, I will monitor, I will check the live chat. So when I go through the presentation and the rest of the questions. So let me go through documents I prepared here first. So here, sorry for people on Twitter, I will do this again, but I think there's a lot of people on YouTube as well. So the main link I'm going to share today to go through the official information is this Border Measures Japan. It's from the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. I will share all the links in the description of the video when the video is ended. So as soon as the video ends, I will add all the links, and you can click on them yourself. This is in English, and pretty well done. It's very simple, very straightforward explanation of what's needed. Of course, that's general. You will always have to refer to your sponsor. Don't forget your sponsor is responsible for your arrival and your quarantine. So they may have different rules. They may have something a little bit different. So what I give you today, of course, is general information. It's not case by case. That would be impossible because there are almost 400,000 people waiting. I can't really know each case, but it's important to give this general information. So before departure, you will need an inspection certificate, which is showed also below in this link, which include the negative PCR test that you've done in your country. You need a written pledge, which has been just updated. Sorry, this is not scrolled up. It was just updated the 1st of March, so it's slightly different of what you had before, but it's still pretty straightforward. It's only 5 pages, 6 pages long. The funny thing is that there are like maybe 70% of the text is bold and makes there's more bold text than not bold text, and it's kind of everything is important, and you really miss the importance of having some bold text. But just please go and read through everything and make sure that you prepare it and you sign. So this is linked here, and I will link in the description. Also a questionnaire that is available when you it's available from a QR code in this link, so you can prepare it before departing. When you arrive, you need to give these documents that you prepare, take another test, a PCR test, and install application to your device. You can also rent a smartphone at the airport in case you are one of the few people that haven't got a smartphone, which is still fine. If you have your own smartphone, I think it's you will be able, either if it's Android or if it's an iPhone, to download the application to your device. They will make sure that you have them
downloaded and installed, and then you do the quarantine. I will talk a little bit more about the quarantine later. So that's a very, very good website, very simple. It also has an updated list of designated countries here. So those are the countries that, as for the 1st of March, have a bit more strict quarantine. As you can see, if your country is a designated country, for example, you have to do 3 days at the facilities if you don't have a booster shot. I will talk this in the Q&A a little bit later, because many people have asked about what means booster and so on. So please don't worry. It's written here anyway, but I will also reply to you. So I'm going to close these links so it's a bit less confusing. This is also the visa application form that many embassy required from the website of your Japanese embassy. Depending on the country you're from, you probably are able to download this. Some embassy may have a different procedure. Again, it's always good when you take the appointment with your local Japanese embassy to get the visa. It's always good to ask, double check what documents are required, because it may really change slightly country by country, embassy by embassy. I don't want to really stress this too much, because there may be one document extra here and there, but this usually is necessary as well. You can download also from the link I put in the description. You can print it. It's very simple, contains your information. This is the, sorry, I only have the Japanese one, but there is also an English one that you can easily find. I will link in the description. Is a declaration that your COE is still valid. That's your sponsor needs to send you in case your COE, the original date of expiration of your COE is passed. So if your COE has expired, for example, you are a 2020 or 2021 COE that has expired, as you know, COEs have been extended, so please don't worry about that. But your sponsor needs to say, oh, the student is still enrolled. We still want to hire this worker. Please consider the COE even if it's expired. So it's just an extra declaration that you need to get from your sponsor. Those are other information about the vaccination certificate, which one is valid, how can you show your proof of vaccination is explained here. Again, I will link in the description, but this information is already available, which is really good. It was updated 7th of December, no major changes from then. So that's one thing we have so far. And then I want to go through this document that actually Gogo NIHON has prepared. It is for students. Let me check here if everything is okay. Sorry, I have to go through the chat. Okay, yeah, I think my audio and the video is okay right now. I see a lot of you online, so I'll continue. Sorry, I cannot see the screen and also check the question. So for the beginning, I will just go through all the information we know so far, and then when we do the Q&A, I will talk to you in the live chat. But please feel free to comment what I'm saying, because again, things could be slightly different case by case, visa category by visa category, or also you have some questions while I'm talking, maybe someone else can already reply. I think interaction is fantastic, and it's wonderful that really YouTube and Twitter are helping so much to fill the gap, that communication gap that we are experiencing here. So I'm really glad that I have this tool to reach so many of you that maybe really need this information as soon as possible, because maybe you have an appointment at your embassy this week or next week. So I'm really, really glad to have this opportunity to reach a lot of you and maybe help you to understand what has been decided so far, what are the official information. Going back, so a huge thank you to Gogo NIHON, because everything I'm doing today would have not been possible without the work of my team at Gogo NIHON. They've done an amazing work from basically last Friday, when this information kind of became, came out with the ERFS system and all these details about the quarantine and things that are coming from a PDF in a Japanese link from the Ministry of Foreign Education website. So we need to do a lot of work first to find information, then translate, put it together, understand what is best for people coming to Japan. So again, this is not one person work. Absolutely, actually, there is a lot of people that have put this together. This is the official email we are sending now to our students. Is the official communication, but I think it's important to share to everyone at this point, because it contains things that are really
are really important for everyone. Doesn't matter if you have used Google NIHON or not. Of course, there are a lot of other things we are doing for Google NIHON students, but in this case, I think this communication is very, very helpful to share. So first of all, if you're a student, this is something that also came in the Q&A. You have to pay for the tuition fee in order to receive the COE. This is not a rule that has been decided during the pandemic. This is a rule that's always been, we always had this rule in Japan, at least since I applied as a language student in 2008. So it's been a while. I came to Japan in 2008. And at that time, there was already this rule. And it makes sense if you think about it. So forget about the pandemic and forget about that the government, unfortunately, has the power of closing and opening the borders wherever they want. But forget about that for a second. If they were giving the COE and the visa to everyone without paying for the tuition fee, out of all these people waiting, I'm sure that all of you are good students or good people, and they will, pay the tuition fee after in Japan and go to the school. But there will be some people that will just get the visa, enter Japan, never go to the school, never pay, and just get lost. So in order to avoid that, I think this is inevitable. And it's not only Japan. I know friends that went to study in the UK, friends that went to study in Korea. I know many people that studied abroad. And I think every country you go, you need to prove that you're paying the tuition fee to get a student visa. So this is unfortunate, but that's how it is in all over the world, I think. Especially in Japan, and this is a step that you need to take in order to get the COE. There is no control we have on the borders, but at the same time, I feel that this time the procedure is smooth, and hopefully you can be in Japan in a few weeks. This is my personal feeling. I feel things are much better than they were in November. I think you're also feeling that. This is pretty much what I said already. What you need to bring to the embassy to convert your visa: original COE, high quality photo, passport, visa application form that I showed before, your school info, ERFS certificate, the digital certificate, and also the declaration, the thing that your certificate of eligibility is still valid. And then there could be other required documents. So please check with your embassy what's required for you, as it's written here. This is important. You may not have an address yet. You may not have reserved your accommodation yet when you fill your visa. And most of the cases, it's okay to leave it blank. Some embassy require a temporary address. Please check with your local Japanese embassy. Okay. And good news is that yesterday, it was yesterday night, the news came. I posted yesterday on Twitter and the COE have been extended again, hopefully for the last time, which means that all COE issued between the January 2020 and January 2022 are now valid until the end of July 2022. And if a COE was issued on February 2022 or later, they will have 6 months validity. So I think this will help everyone really to be in Japan, regardless of the timing and everything else. Okay. I see a lot of people tagging me in the comments, but again, I'm sorry that I'm not checking the comments now because I want to go through this. Otherwise, I will have to stop, and this will take forever. But you will have time to ask me questions later when I finish. Okay. Be aware of the quarantine process. So we know the quarantine process already. It's a bit confusing. I understand many questions I've received are about the quarantine process. So that means that it's not only one person. It's really confusing. I'm trying to explain it now, and I will also reply to the questions that you asked later. So hopefully both of this explanation and Q&A will make things a bit more clear. Arrivals from design countries region. So if you arrive from a design country, which are the countries that have higher risk of bringing corona or whatever you want to call high-risk countries, designated countries, you need to do 3-day self-quarantine at your home if you have a booster shot, and or 7 days self-quarantine. Sorry, if you have a booster shot, you need to do 3 days self-quarantine and then a negative PCR test on the 3rd day to get out, or 7 days without this extra PCR test. If you're unvaccinated, the first 3 days has to be at the quarantine government facility. And if you are coming from a non-designated, so every other country, if you have a booster shot, you can non-designated plus booster shot, no quarantine at all, 0 days. If you have, if you are unvaccinated or if you don't have a booster shot, then you have to do 3 days self-quarantine, but you can do at your home, and then you can leave after 3 days if you get a negative COVID test result. And if you don't have a negative COVID test result or you don't want to take one, after 7 days, you still have to do 7 days quarantine. What are booster shots? So booster vaccinated means having received all 3 shots. Vaccine accepted are AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. However, the 3rd shot must be Pfizer or Moderna. More information in this link, which I will put also in the description, okay? I'm trying to go through this. The list of designated country, it's in the link I shared before. I can open it again here. It's in here. So if you come from Italy, I'm Italian, and those other countries, Albania, Bangladesh, etc., you are from a designated country, so you have to follow the pattern that I said just here. So it's a bit more strict. Sorry, I can't really select it. It's a bit more strict, but it's not too bad. Next steps. So we understand that if you're flying from Europe, unfortunately, because the terrible, disgusting thing that is happening, I'm really sorry for everyone in Ukraine right now. Unfortunately, some of airlines are also changing. They're not allowed to, or they don't want to fly over Russian space. So you may have to consider a different path if your airline doesn't fly in that direction, and could be using, for example, a Turkish airline or Emirates, Qatar, or Arab airlines are available for you. So this is something you want to check. The good thing is that even if your school, for example, is not in Tokyo, but you study in Sapporo, Fukuoka, there are 5 airports available, which I will say it later in details, but you can, within 24 hours, you can also take a local flight. So we confirm that. But this is a very important information. So you can still move within 24 hours to reach your quarantine location. For example, you're arriving in Tokyo, Narita, but your school is in Osaka and your quarantine location is in Osaka. Within 24 hours, if you arrive in Tokyo, you can still fly to Osaka and quarantine there. There is an upper limit of 5,000 people per day, and is not clear yet this cap how will be enforced. I will give more details about this later. Within 24 hours, transportation, in principle, all arrivals need to avoid using public transportation. However, there are exceptions. People coming from non-designated countries who will quarantine in a private accommodation may use public transportation to get their place of quarantine, as long as they do within 24 hours of the negative PCR test done upon arrival in Japan. So within 24 hours, if you're coming from a non-designated country, you can take public transportation, which includes also flying locally. If you come from a designated country, then you will have to quarantine in a government facility. And the transportation will be arranged by the government. I will show you some information about the accommodation process. We offer, as NIHON, quarantine package. Actually, I can go through it now since this will save time. With NIHON, we offer a quarantine package where you can have an optional pickup. It's not mandatory. You can choose how many days you need to stay in the hotel. You can have optional insurance and optional discount on online courses. If you want to go to Google, this link is available for everyone, so you can have a look. You can compare with whatever other option is available, and you can choose it if you need it. And for accommodation, also, of course, post quarantine, we offer every type of accommodation from homestay to dormitory, share house, everything, private apartments. Everything is available for not just for our students, but everyone that wants to go to our service. It's a completely free service. At the end, you pay only the accommodation that you choose. Okay, there are some other info here which I will share about bringing medication, bringing your medicine if it's needed, part-time work permit. This information usually we share with our students, but please keep in mind that as a student you can work part-time. Downloading the pledge, the questionnaire, all this will be linked in the description of this video. Very straightforward. We suggest you to also get insured for travel insurance and everything, especially for the first maybe few weeks that you're in Japan, or for longer if you prefer. How to install MySOS and COVID tracking application. Those are the required applications from the government during your quarantine time, and what type of tests you need to be doing when before flying. Okay, so all this information is important. Then post-arrival, if you present with any COVID-19 symptoms after you are in Japan, immediately report it to your school or to your employer, basically to your sponsor, and you can get medical care at the health center or medical institution over the standby facility. Again, it's very important that you follow all the instructions. Here is written by your school, but even if you're a worker, by your sponsor. So your sponsor ultimately is responsible for your visa and for your entrance procedure, including the quarantine. So they may have a little bit different entry procedure that I've described here. Make sure that you follow the instruction. Make sure you follow all the rules, especially you entering first are very important, because we know how strict has been the government to lift this travel ban for new entry foreigners, and I'm sure they will be monitoring very closely how the situation goes. So you have the responsibility, not just for your sake, to make sure that you enter without any issue and you can enjoy the rest of your stay in Japan. You can study Japanese, you can study at university, you can work at the company you're signing up for, you can stay with your family, you can stay with your loved ones. Of course, it's your priority. I understand that, but at the same time, you want to make sure that the future visas, future entries will have no issue, because maybe one person or some people have at the very beginning just didn't respect any rule and create problems, and then the government say, okay, so maybe we should actually be more strict, right? We don't want that. We want the rules to be absolutely same as every entry, same as re-entries, as I've always been saying. All entries are the same. In order to get that, I think we need to basically follow the procedure like it should be. I think that's a simple task, but if everyone follows, things will be much smoother for future entries. So please remember that. And so this is for the instructions. I want to also go through some other useful information for everyone. So when you enter Japan, and sorry again if I share some information from Gogo NIHON, that as also, of course, some links are part of the job we do. But I think it's very important to give you an idea of what is needed, and then you are completely free to choose our partners, or you find a similar service. I'm going to be happy both ways. So that's not really the point. But of course, since this document was made by Gogo NIHON, I'm using the document made by Gogo NIHON. It contains our partners. For example, for the travel insurance, this is the partner we recommend. We've been partnering with them for many years, and covers specifically foreigners coming for a period of 6 months or more, so with a visa. So that's why we partner with them. And of course, if you click on the link, which I will also share in the description, you will find more information. There is also a brochure here you can download and get all the info. You're gonna need a SIM card. Again, you don't have to use the link of our partner, but it's important that you prepare yourself to be able to have a SIM card from the very beginning. It's going to be very helpful for you. You may need a pocket Wi-Fi or not. Some people don't care. Some people are happy just having maybe their apartment set up with pocket Wi-Fi. The good thing about Pocket Ninja Wi-Fi is that you can have short contrast. You can have it for the first month and then stopping. You can also use it instead of your internet at home. You can just use the pocket Wi-Fi at home and outside home. This is very important. So moving money, it could really cost a lot of taxes and commissions from the bank. If you want to get paid between your local traditional bank in your country and a traditional bank like Mitsubishi or whatever in Japan, they will take so much in charges. I personally have been using, and we suggest our students to use a service like Wise, which formally is known as a TransferWise. You're going to save so much money with fees. You won't believe it. You'll say thank to me. So you don't have to. I don't even have the links here, but I will link in the description. But you don't have to, of course, use our GoGoNIHON referral. Although if you do, of course, will help my channel and will help also our future work. So feel free to use if you like. But you can set up with Wise. I have the link here. Sorry, this is the pocket Wi-Fi I was talking about. And this is also the SIM card I was talking about. So I'm going to show this very quickly, but I will also close this. For Wise, you can get a Japanese yen account, which is borderless. So basically, it's not physically located in Japan. Wherever you are, you can move money in Japanese yen, and it's going to be your account. And also, you get a debit card, which is very, very helpful for your payments and stuff in Japan. And another service that we recommend, if you just want to move money, so Wise offers a bit more, offers you a bank account, a debit card. Instead, if you just want to transfer money to a traditional Japanese bank account, using a service like XE, which you probably are familiar with, will make you save money with fees. So please think about these things, because everything adds up. If you prepare in advance, you will be saving money, time. We also created a nice blog article explaining how to order food online. You could use during your quarantine period. You could use also at the beginning when you're not familiar yet with the restaurants in your area, things like that. Uber Eats and similar services are very popular in Japan now, so you can get any type of food. Also, grocery shopping can be done online in English. And we invite you to the student. If you're a GoGoNIHON student, you can be part of a Facebook student group, student community. If not, I want to suggest you our let's see if this works, our Discord group. I'm not sure if there is anyone from our Discord now, but the group has been insanely helpful, and I just want to share it now. Yes, I get it here. So here, as you can see, that's our Discord group. I don't know if someone is looking at it. Maybe someone can say hi from the general chat. I don't know. Maybe they're all watching on YouTube. But I will share also the link of our Discord as a group for everyone, for every visa category, to talk about the entry procedure. So let me stop sharing this, getting back here. And then we're almost there. I want to go through a few other things. I want to go through a few other things related to accommodation, since many people have asked about accommodation. So what we know about the accommodation, let me get back here. Accommodation process here. So if you are allowed to arrange your own quarantine accommodation by your sponsor, we will offer you a quarantine package, which I briefly showed before, with hotel and other optional features. Those are optional. Only the hotel, of course, is required since it's a quarantine package. You may have several discounts. I showed the link before. I will link in the description. And what we know is that if you're planning to live in a private apartment during your stay in Japan, you can use it also for the self-isolation period. I think it's really good. Before, like last year, this wasn't possible. I mean, it was really weird, but now it's possible. Sorry. If you stay in a share house for quarantine, it depends. Please talk with your chosen accommodation agency, or talk with GoGoNIHON in case you're going to use GoGoNIHON. It really depends about few different things, so I cannot give you a final answer. Same as for homestay, some families have the private room and are okay with it. Some other families may not. So it depends on your host family and your chosen school. So it will depend by both, or you can change school with your sponsor, right? If you are an intern or you are a worker. Transportation from the airport, as I said, within 24 hours you can move. And this is pretty much what after quarantine, as GoGoNIHON, we support you with the accommodation process. Even if you didn't use our service as a student,
you can still use the accommodation service, and those are something you need to look for. Again, I will link in the description. This is something you need to look for in after arrival. Especially, you need to register at the Japanese Ward Office. That's very important, and I will link this in the description. Okay, I think we are done with what we know so far, which, as you've seen, compared to the video I made just a week ago, we put together a lot of good information. We know much more. We pretty much know how the entry procedure will look like. However, there are still many doubts based on the questions I've received. So what I will do now, I will start with your question. I'll take some water first because I already spoke for 30 minutes. I'm gonna have a look to the live chat as well. I think comments are flying. Thanks again for all your support, and be active part of this community that we created. I think that's been really my major motivation, my major reason why I've, this year it was possible, because it was really a lot of work. It was so much things that I've never done before as well. To be honest, like I never spoke with a journalist. I never spoke with a politician in Japan because I didn't have to. So I had to understand and I had to figure out a lot of things. But thanks to the comments I received from you, from this community, I really could go through this. And the other day on Twitter, for a day or two, I was too busy with the new information that came out about the ERFS system, and I was too busy, and I got a lot of DMs. I was so worried to open them. I said, "Oh my gosh, no worry, because I don't wanna see them, but because I thought, it's gonna be so many questions. I'm already kind of, my work is 18 hours a day now, and when I have to see all the questions, I want to reply, I want to really help, but it was a lot." But then most of them, they were just thank you from you guys, and for me that was really nice to see. I started to see people, starting to see some of you that I've been talking for almost a year now, finally getting the digital certificate, finally getting a visa appointment at the embassy, and hopefully finally being able to come to Japan. For me is the final, how do you say, gratification for all this, for everything that has been done. But of course, is not done yet at all, because all of you have to be in Japan. And when I see all of you, I don't mean only students, even though I often talk about students, I mean everyone, including, of course, categories that are struggling more because of the visa type. There is not a visa type, for example, for couples. There is not a couple visa or a relationship visa in Japan. I think these categories have a harder life, but I think each step in the right direction is going to help ultimately everyone to come to Japan, including couples, or even at the end, tourists that, for example, have strong reason. People that have visited Japan so many times, have friends, have things going on in Japan, and really they're not tourists, right? When we say tourists, we imagine someone coming from Japan for a week or 2 weeks for the first time. Maybe they can wait, they can go to anywhere else. But there are many people that come with a tourist visa, but they're not tourists. And I think I hope they will be included as soon as possible with some changes in the rules. But yeah, so let's go to the Q&A. Let's go to the Q&A because I feel that if I keep talking like this, it's going to be a 5-hour streaming. So which airports are open? Are we allowed to enter via other airports like Fukuoka? Good news. So there are 5 airports open. Narita open. I mean, many airports are open in Japan, but officially open for international travel. Narita, Haneda, Chubu, Kansai, Fukuoka. And you can, within 24 hours, move domestically. Okay? Could be Shinkansen, could be Yamanote Line, could be domestic flight. So I think this is good, fairly good, right? It shouldn't be an issue. And then the second question, yes, you can take a domestic flight when you arrive in Japan. Other big topic, actually, I've been receiving a lot of messages about working holiday visa.
since unfortunately, it's hard for people with a working holiday visa to get a sponsor already, because you may not have an employer, right? Even if it's called working holiday, but it's a bit different than a working visa, as you know. And not every country can have a working holiday visa. So if you're not familiar with a working holiday visa, probably it means that you are not eligible. If your country doesn't have a page, if your Japanese embassy in your country doesn't have a page for working holiday visa, probably it's not available for your country. And the answer is that schools, so if you don't have an employer, language schools some of them are accepting also application that will give you a completion of registration certificate, the new digital certificate for you. Depending on the school, maybe you need to apply for 3 months, for 6 months. What I suggest you to do is to contact GoGoNIHON for that, because we can help. And our service is free, so you don't have to pay us anything. I heard that some companies are charging for this certificate of this support. No way, we don't charge you. It may take a little bit of time to get back to you, because we are prioritizing students with already COE, and maybe they need to enter now in March or April, but we will reply to you, and we will help you to apply to a school, 3 months maybe, and then you can come with a working holiday visa. So you can contact us as soon as possible. This is also answer the next question. For some reason, my second screen decided to stop working, which is not a big deal, but I would like to have both screens. Let's see if he gets back alive. But yeah, so GoGoNIHON can help you. Please contact us. Go to gogonion.com, send us an inquiry specifically for working holiday visa and getting the ERFS digital certificate. But yeah, we may take a bit more than usual to reply, because we will give priority to students currently already with the COE waiting to enter Japan. And then the monitor has just decided to give up on me when I needed the most. But I'll try once more, and if it doesn't work, I'll just use one single monitor, which is fine too. Okay, let's see. After finishing the 3 days of quarantine at government hotel, can we use public transportation to move to our private quarantine place? Yes. So if your PCR is negative, of course, so you don't have coronavirus, you can use public transportation. Going on, Ayro-san, please inform how many PCR tests do we need after entering Japan, how much it all costs, and if we should have a more quarantine after 3 days, how much cost we will spend in the next 4 days. Okay. So the cost of the PCR when you arrive at the airport. Let's start before taking your flight. You will have to pay by yourself in your country, and the cost really changes. In Italy, I had to pay about 60 euros, which is about maybe $70, $80 for a PCR test before departing from my country. But it could really change and depend country by country. And when you arrive in Japan at the airport, the test it's paid by the government. You don't have to pay. Sorry. And if you are at a government facility, that test is also paid by the government. However, if you are quarantining at your own facility, that could be a hotel, could be your apartment. If you want to leave after 3 days, you need to arrange the PCR test by yourself or with your sponsor. It could be your school or your employer. That depends case by case. So you should talk with your school, with your employer. Will they provide it to you, or you will have to order by yourself, which I think is going to be difficult. So hopefully they will provide it for you. Rosie-san, my passport validity is 4 months only. It will expire July this year, and hopefully I can enter Japan this April. My question: can I review my passport after I enter Japan? So by the rule is that your passport should have at least 6 months validity or more when entering Japan. Now, I think exception could be made, but I wouldn't really get to that point. I would renew the passport as soon as possible before leaving Japan. If you can't, for any reason, talk with your local Japanese embassy. But normally you should have at least 6 months on your passport when you arrive in Japan. Then you can renew your passport in Japan, going to your local embassy. For example, I'm Italian. If I want to renew my passport, I can go to the Italian embassy in Japan. They will do it for me, pretty straightforward. But when you enter Japan for the first time, or if you're a new entry, your passport should be at least 6 months. And it seems that in case you need to renew your passport, I know there are some parts in Sweden, for example, that has an increased queue. There might be everything for a few weeks to a few months. That means if your passport is expiring, talk to your sponsor, see if it's needed to renew, and if it's needed, go to renew as soon as possible, because it could take time. You could actually have already the flight ticket, you could actually have already the visa, but then you cannot fly because your passport is expiring. You need to wait for a new passport. That would be really not ideal after all this wait, right? So that's a very important point. Okay, now let's go and talk about how will they manage the 5,000 entries. How can we be sure we won't be refused at the airport just because there are already 5,000 people who entered the country before? So sorry, I'm smiling because I've been thinking about this all the time. I've read rumors. I've read from people saying, oh, they give exactly 5,000 tickets per day, or they check with the with the airport seats. I think that's possible, but very difficult, because there are airlines from all over the world, and checking this on a daily basis is a bit insane. The reality, there is no official news or official criteria on how to check this 5,000. So we can take guesses. I'm not going to make any guess in those answers. I'm only answering what I know. So I will say when I don't know. In this case, I don't know. I know that there is a possibility that this 5,000 will be increased, and there is a discussion going on right now. The 3rd of March, Kishida-san will talk about it. It could be his usual consideration, Kento, or it could be actually saying that this number will be increased from, I don't know, next week. We don't know that. But for now, there is no way to know how this 5,000 will be counted. I would be extremely surprised, even after these 2 years, completely messy 2 years we had with all the problems we had with the immigration, with this Japan travel ban. Even considering how bad it was, I would still be shocked if someone with a visa, with a flight ticket, arrives in Japan and they tell him, sorry, you can't enter, you need to stay inside the plane, or you need to stay at the airport for 24 hours because today we reached the limit of people. I think that would be shocking. And same, you arrive in your country airport ready to fly, and they get a call, oh, we reached 5,000. Sorry, no one can fly from Japan. This, I don't think is going to happen. But this, again, no one told me officially that that's not going to happen. It's just like trying to take in consideration. Okay, I need to stop using this word because I hate it. I need to make some assumption, and I think that's not going to be possible. Does the 5,000 limit apply to everyone? At the moment, yes. University students included, yes, everyone, including Japanese re-entrants, which is the larger group. So we would really like to have new entries, at least new entries, and Japanese re-entrants separated. If they give 5,000 new entries per day, I'm not saying we are happy. We really want all entries the same. We really want even tourists, they can enter with the same rules, ideally. But as a next step, I think 5,000 for only new entries, or this category can get this category can get this. It would be a huge improvement, because now we are together with the Japanese re-entries, and that makes things very tight for us. Not many, assuming they can check this 5,000. That's another topic, right? This TV it's really strange that it stopped working, because scanning for signal, no HDMI signal. Let me try to unplug. Sorry, I'll take a second here. I want to try to unplug this completely from here. Hopefully I don't make a... So moving on, does COE validity still matter? I know we need, oh, it works. It worked. I think I found a way to fix it. So what I would like to do is to move this here. Sorry, I have now, okay, now I did something good. Yes. Okay, I see a lot of you are asking questions. I told at the beginning of this streaming, I will get to the live chat as soon as I finish with the question I received beforehand, because I've asked you to send me the questions before this live streaming. I'm reading them now, and I want to go through all of them. There are about 50 questions, I think, at the end, removing the duplicates. After that, I will check the live chat, and maybe we can talk a bit together. And getting back here, so does COE validity still matter? I know we need COE plus the declaration in order to apply for visa, but do we have a deadline to consider? If so, how does that fit into the whole daily anti-cap issue? So daily anti-cap issue, I just discussed about it. And for COE validity, has been extended until July, end of July. So that pretty much covers everyone for a while, and I really want everyone to enter by then. Okay, hopefully March, April. I mean, I want not all March, April, but worst case scenario, by July, everyone needs to be in Japan. How can we know the specific date we will be allowed to fly to Japan with the quota? My COE issued last month. When I will be going to Japan? Hello, do you think March 8th is a good day to leave? Okay, this is all legit questions. I understand. Unfortunately, there is not an answer for it. It's impossible for me to anticipate the exact date or the exact time each one of you will be able to enter to Japan. You need to get the certificate of eligibility from your sponsor, and also the completion of registration certificate, the digital certificate in PDF. With that, you take an appointment with your embassy. Okay, with your embassy. When I say with your embassy, I mean your local Japanese embassy. So if you're in Italy, your Italian Japanese embassy or consulate. If you're in America, your Japanese embassy or consulate. Take an appointment, and then you're gonna get visa by then. You know, you need time to actually meet with them, and you need time also to get the visa back. So that's some time. You can already take a flight ticket, since it seems that the flights are increasing in price. However, you need to consider the risk of, let's say, you're still waiting to get an appointment with your embassy, so you don't know exactly how long it's going to take to get a visa. You can estimate. You can call and say, usually how long it takes. Oh, it takes 2 weeks. Okay, I'll take the flight in 3 weeks. You can kind of estimate that, but no one will tell you for sure you get this by this. Okay, that's how it is. It's 400,000 people applying at the same time, when to something that normally you have maybe 1,000 people applying at the same time. So embassies in your country, consulate in your country, there is a very high chance that are overwhelmed. They have so much application coming at the same time. Schools, the same. NIHON, the same. It's exploding right now, which is finally, that's what we waited for, right? We really wanted finally to be to this point, and people start to get processed, but it's extremely busy. So it's really hard to give you, in 3 hours you can get this, tomorrow you can get that, in 2 weeks you're going to be in Japan. Take the flight the 15th of March, not just for me, for everyone. But what you can do, you take a refundable ticket, a ticket that you can cancel, you can change, and you try to estimate the time talking with your Japanese embassy. How long it's going to take? When I can take an appointment? If I get the digital certificate, if I get all the documents tomorrow, when can I get an appointment? Maybe you can already get an appointment knowing that in the next few days you're going to have already the documentation ready. So that kind of thing you can do a little bit. Thanks. What does designated and destination mean in the quarantine list? Designated are high-risk countries in terms of corona. Okay, so the designated countries, they have a bit more strict quarantine rules, but you can still come to Japan. Also, work visa, we need COE and that certificate from ERFS, right? Yes, everyone needs work student visa, they need that ERFS certificate. Is there anything more? I show at the beginning of the video, and I will also write in the description the links of the list of documents you need. But remember, always check with your sponsor and your local Japanese embassy or consulate, because things can change case by case and also country by country. What is the COE procedure for those whose COEs were issued at the start of the pandemic? Do they have to apply for a new one? No, July 2020 COE is still available, is still valid, has been extended all this time. Double check with your sponsor in case there is any problem, but your COE should be okay. So you don't need to apply for a new one, okay? It would be nice to know how strict they will be regarding entering with a valid visa but expired COE. So I think this is a case of someone, for example, in February 2020, got a visa. And then in March, unfortunately, 2020, they closed the borders. But this visa was 5 years visa, okay? So the visa is still valid. Both visa and COE should be valid. However, since you never entered to Japan, your COE is still valid. So some Japanese embassy abroad, they keep the COE on your passport. You may still have it. Some other embassy, they keep it in the embassy. So you can call the embassy and say, do you still have my COE? In any case, if you have a copy of the COE and you can prove that the COE was issued after January 2020, which means that it's been extended, you may still be okay. But since the situation is so specific, is so particular, please double check with your embassy and your sponsor. It may be possible for you to enter, but please don't just listen to my words, because I don't work for the government. Of course not, never. I can give you general information based on what we have, but every case is different. I'm not an immigration lawyer as well, so you want to double check everything in this Q&A together with, especially those specific questions, with your local Japanese embassy and consulate and your sponsor. How long is the visa valid after receiving? This depends. Each case is different. Some people receive 1 year and 3 months. Some people receive 2 years. Sorry, some people receive 5 years. Depends on what you're going to study, how long you're going to study. Depending on your employer, how long they applied for. Sometimes you apply for 5 years, but you get only 3 years and things like that. Should I just buy my flight ticket before I get my visa? I heard the entry cap was being controlled by airports, and it could be a matter of just who buys the ticket first. I think as much as you take it refundable, if you prefer to, usually refundable tickets are a bit more expensive, right? Like tickets you can change. But if you prefer to get it and you can estimate a little bit the time where you could be able to leave, I think it's perfectly fine. On the other side, you could wait and check it later. I think this is something only the future can tell. The 5,000 quota could be increased soon. I really hope so, but I don't have any confirmation yet. For the people that don't need quarantine, is it required to have individual written pledge or MySO as app entering to Japan? Yes. Sorry. This is a good question. I believe the written pledge, yes, because he also has other information about follow these guidelines, wash your hands, blah, blah, blah. Very important, of course, for reducing the chance of spreading the COVID. But MySO app, I don't think so. In any case, you'll find out when you arrive. When the first student arrive, I can find this out. This is the kind of thing that is not going to be written. We can assume using the logic, but sometimes the logic doesn't work here in Japan. So we may be surprised that you still have to download and then you can delete it when you get out the airport. I don't know. I'm just being a bit like a guessing game, right? But it's not going to be a big issue anyway. You will find out when you arrive. Is it possible to quarantine in your dorm if coming from the United States, or do we need to do 3 days quarantine in government hotel? I think United States has been removed from the designated list, but not all dorm rooms are okay for quarantine. You need to have a private, toilet and bath. Is one of the rules, no? So you need to check with your accommodation or Gogonion if you're a Gogonion student. We will tell you which is okay, which one is not.
Since Americans don't have to quarantine if they test negative, yet the pledge implies that you have a quarantine location booked and ready just in case. Okay, will they change the pledge? The pledge was changed just yesterday, but in any case, if you don't have to quarantine, you can write the long-term accommodation. So, you don't have to write an hotel if you don't have to go to a hotel. Also, if you have to go to government facility first, you can write the next place. So after the government facility, where are you going to stay? You can write that place. Okay? Because of course, you don't know the address of the government facility. So I think that's a very good question. How many days I must stay at a quarantine hotel arranged by school if I'm exempt from quarantine as 3 doses of Pfizer? So if you have 3 doses of Pfizer and you're coming from a non-designated country, you don't have to quarantine. So 0 days. If you had 3 doses and you came from a designated country, you need to spend the first 3 days at hotel, or if you have a private apartment, and then with a negative PCR test, you can get out. I'm still a bit confused on how many days I will have to quarantine if I come from Australia. It's in the 3 days list you shared, but it says removed. Does that mean no quarantine? So removed, it means removed from the designated list. So Australia, together with a few other countries, has been removed from the designated list from the 1st of March. However, depending if you are boosted or not, as I said at the beginning of the video, you may still have to quarantine in a hotel or apartment of your choice. Same question here. I think that part was pretty confusing. So many questions about it. I'm happy to answer. What does designation removed mean? Does it mean that the designated countries with this note be a non-designated one at the day specified? Yes, correct. So it means that from the 1st of March, they lose the designation, which is a good thing. It means the quarantine rules are a bit smoother. My COE expires on April 30th. However, I cannot register for the April start of the school year due to the professional reason notice. Is there a chance for me to see that the COE extended at the end of July? Yes, there is more than a chance. I used to say until 2 days ago, let me see if I still have the post here. Yeah, there was a chance, but actually it's been officially confirmed that COEs have all been extended. So let me share this. Very good, from my Twitter. This is coming from the official Immigration Service Agency here. I just translated it. So certificate of eligibility COE have been extended to July 31st, 2022. If the issue date is between January 1st, 2020 to January 31st, 2022, it's valid until 31st of July, 2022. If the issue date of your certificate of eligibility is from February 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2022, it's valid for 6 months from the issue date. So this is answer perfectly your question. Good news for you. You can arrange your departure with a bit more time, but please contact your sponsor. Some European airlines currently do not cross Russia, but what about other airlines leaving from Europe to Japan? Where do they go? I think this is hard for me to say. You should really check with the airline. I know that from Europe, if you go through Turkey or Arab countries, you basically avoid flying over Russia. I'm not sure ANA, JAL, what route they take. I think you should check with them locally, like calling their call center and verify that. Can you enter Japan without being vaccinated? Is vaccination mandatory for entry into Japan? Do we need to carry a negative test certificate with us when we board plane to Japan? So I put together those questions. Everyone can enter Japan regardless of the vaccination status. So it's not mandatory, but you need to carry a negative PCR test within 72 hours from departure. Okay, and the test has to follow some guidelines. Make sure you go to the links in the description. I show you at the beginning of the video. Make sure to go there and follow them, because it's important Japan recognize it. Otherwise, you may be denied the entrance. Do you need a vaccination certificate? If yes, you don't need it. If you have it with with 1 booster shot, 3 shots in total, you can have a reduced quarantine or better, smoother quarantine. Let's call it like this. There is a link that I shared at the beginning, and I will also put in the description, that shows which requirements the vaccination certificate has to have. I believe Austria will have those requirements because it's in European countries, but make sure that you check that link as well. For Janssen, which is the Johnson & Johnson, you need to have 3 shots, and the third shot has to be Pfizer or Moderna only. So, for example, you had one Johnson & Johnson, second Pfizer, third Pfizer is okay. If I got booster shot and from designated country, can I still choose to quarantine a government chosen accommodation? I'm thinking this could be a budget-friendly option. I think it makes sense. I understand why this is being asked. I don't think it's possible though, because this will not be legal, right? And I think they will still find out later your vaccination status. So you will be registered as not vaccinated. So you cannot get an extra shot in Japan if whatever will be needed in the future. I think you create more problems, unfortunately. I really understand the question. But I think that it's not a good idea, and is not legal as well. We're almost there with the questions, and then I will check the live chat. What will be the treatment for the other entrants who got their first and second dose with the Chinese and Russian brands, and their booster is Pfizer or Moderna, and they showed a negative PCR test? So every case that is not boosted with the third shot being Pfizer or Moderna, and the first 2 shots has to be Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Moderna. So this is the only case that you count as a booster for Japan. Every other combination, you just show up as a non-boosted. So you need to follow the non-boosted route when you quarantine. Granted 2 shots of vaccine, is European Green Pass or recovery from COVID officially recognized enough? No. So if you get COVID, you cannot add it up to the shots. You need to have a third dose. That's the only way to have the reduced, the easier or smoother quarantine. So Sinovac, for example, coupled with Moderna booster, not included in the boosted route or boosted quarantine. You still can enter. You're just gonna show up as not boosted, but you can enter. So I think that's really the important part. My company says that for my ERSF, I think it's ERFS, but in any case, certificate to be issued, they need to include the address of where I will be staying when I arrive in Japan. However, I will have to quarantine a government hotel. You can put the second address, okay? So you don't know, of course, the government hotel address, but you can put where you're going to stay after. If you had corona sickness and got 2 shots, are you considered boosted? No. Absolutely not. So the only way to be boosted is the one I just described before. Can we or should we expect to hear anything at all from the schools in this month? How long for the issuance of the new online certificate? As I mentioned before, I think all schools are going to get back to the students, email the students in the next few days. Some of them have done it, some of them not. All the schools are working really hard. Imagine that this normally you have maybe 1,000 people together doing this in each week. And now, as is going on, but in general, schools, in general, also embassies and consulate abroad, instead of having 1,000 people per week, they have 400,000 altogether to be processed. Okay, schools maybe only under 50,000, but it's still a much larger number than they normally do. And although this system likely it's much smoother than it used to be, for example, last November. So I'm confident that in the next few days, it's really a matter of days, all of you, one by one, group by group, will get notified by the school. Has to take time, and no one can tell you exactly how many hours or how many days it's going to take. But
please be assured that everyone is working really hard, long hours, because we have the highest interest in cleaning this as soon as possible, because this has been going for 2 years. So we really want to go back to the normal routine where a July student starts in July and October students, I mean, of the same year, of course. A July 2022 students start in July 2022. October 2022 students start in October 2022. That's, we need to get back to that. And the only way is to clean up all the waiting students document processing, right? So I understand the frustration. I understand that you've been waiting for so long, and even a more week makes everything so much stressful. I'm also very stressed about it, about everything related to the Japan travel ban. I hate the Japan travel ban. I hate extra documents. I hate people waiting. Believe me, I really hate everything. We do everything we can to process you, and please be patient a little bit, because everyone is working really hard. So this is now, it's about us working on it. So it's not waiting for the government to open the border. It's us working on it. So hopefully we will start seeing many of you soon. Okay. As a university exchange student, should I be waiting for news from my university, start messaging them about it, or do I need to take initiative myself? So it seems some institutions are taking a bit more time to get back to students. Also, this is connected to the question before. The time is because things are very busy right now, but at the same time, if you feel that you're not getting anything from your institution, absolutely feel free to email them, including Gogonion. If you want to say something to us, email us. Don't feel, there is absolutely no problem with that. I mean, just in case you want to ask something, just ask it. Don't keep it for yourself. Is there any compensation for Japan government if your enrollment terms ended with the online course, while the actual tuition fee we are paid is much more expensive than just online course? So again, I'm absolutely, I understand where this comes from. I think many of you have end up paying for online course, hoping to enter Japan within 3 months, 6 months. But what happened in some cases, people have been studying online for 2 years. And this should have never happened. Online should have been something temporary, really temporary for a month. I've been saying this forever. If you follow me, I've been saying that online should have only been something for a short amount of time, when no one understood well what Corona was. It shouldn't be something that they just brought it for 2 years, thinking that it was the same as studying in Japan, especially because the money in most of the cases were very similar. I know some schools have done discounts, but not all of them. And the discounts were never major. So I think here the person asking this is absolutely right. Unfortunately, I don't know at the moment about any refund from the government. I've been, for what it counts, I mean, at the end, I'm one single person. I don't have this power, right? I wish I had, but I don't have it. I've been raising this issue to relevant people, and that some compensation should be granted to people that have been waiting and, for example, have been paying for online or have been losing 2 years. I think if someone has lost 2 months, I'm not, don't take me like, oh, 2 months of life is nothing. No, of course, even 1 day wasted is 1 day wasted, but you can compare, right? Someone has been waiting for 2 years, someone that has been unable to start working for 2 years, someone that have been paying for online lessons for 2 years is in a much worse situation than someone that he was supposed to enter or maybe January 2022 and maybe enters in April. I think we can all agree on that. So what I'm saying that I've raised this issue, and I cannot guarantee that something's going to be done. Please don't have any expectation on it. But for what I can do, I've been pretty vocal about it, and I hope that some kind of adjustment will be done. But yeah, we need to wait a little bit. I'm very sorry about everyone that has paid online and not even able to come to Japan. Yeah. Do the embassies or wherever will give an extra date to not be missed to take flight? Will there be a waiting list of multiple months to receive the hundreds of thousands of people waiting? So this question, I should have put it earlier before. I already said something about it. I think when you call an embassy with your documentation, they usually give you a time when you get the visa, and then you can get a flight ticket after that. If you want to get a flight ticket as soon as possible, make sure you take it refundable, and there will be a waiting list, multiple months, possibly, because there's so many people waiting. I hope it's going to be few months, not like 8 months. No, I wanna hope that in 2-3 months everyone can come to Japan. And I want people to start coming from now. So that's the important thing, is that let's get March already count, and let's get a lot of people coming in March, hopefully. Do we need to arrange for travel and accommodation prior to submitting the docs, getting registration certificate, or we can just use some tentative schedule and then change it later? Yes, you can use tentative schedule. If they ask you when is your flight ticket and you don't even know when you can fly, use a tentative schedule, use a tentative accommodation. I think that's going to be fine. Few more questions, and then I'll chat with you. I'll check the live chat. So this is a good question. I already briefly spoke about it before, but so basically, how does the 3-day PCR test work for those who will quarantine at their own place? What arrangement needs to be made? The sponsor or yourself needs to take care. It's not going to be paid by the government. So what I expect that the schools or the employer will help the person to go through the PCR, but I don't have the details. So you need to wait a little bit for these details. Same as here, how to get a PCR test kit. There are no details out yet. Hopefully we can find this soon, but if you're really flying up very soon, find out with your sponsor as soon as possible. Are the new entries still required to submit COVID special certificate within 72 hours before departure? Yes, everyone needs to submit. You bring with you, right? So you can show when you land in Narita or Haneda or whatever airport you can land. Yeah, this one is required. Like to confirm something about once test before going to Japan. Does it have to be 72 hours before leaving my country or before landing in Japan? Before departure. Okay, the answer is within 72 hours before departure. I've wrote this already, the answer, because I didn't want to get it wrong. That would be awful if someone get the timing wrong because of me. Remember, whatever I say in this video, things can change first. I'm human, and humans do mistake, especially if it's a 2 hours live streaming. So do always your own research, double check with the links I will put in the description of this video, and ask the questions again. If you're not sure, double check with your local Japanese embassy and with your sponsor, because they may also have specific procedure for your case. So even if what I say is right, there may be some extra procedure, different procedure made by your sponsor. So I'm doing the best I can. It's a lot of work. It's a big thing, right? Like the entry procedure, and I could miss some information very, very easily. So please always double check everything. We are a couple that's planning to relocate with our pet. Is there any information about that? Are pets also allowed to enter if all the corresponding paperwork has already been completed beforehand? I searched about it. There is no nothing that says no. So as much as you have all the paperwork, as much as you double check with your sponsor, you double check with your local Japanese embassy or consulate, and they also say, oh, yeah, there is nothing against it, you can do it, okay? Because there are a lot of things that they didn't write it, to be honest, which means they're okay to do, but you want to double check that. Will students of October, July 2021 have a date on when they can arrive? Because it's last time, the group of July, October 2021 didn't get any. So likely this time there is no specific rule for COE's issuance date. So everyone can go through the procedure, everyone can enter, okay? When you get the relevant documentation from your sponsor. Whether the schools are classified A, B, C grade is in November. So if you don't know, we had an extra issue with some schools that were graded lower because of problems they had with immigration in the past, which ultimately ended up penalizing students that were not responsible about any mistake. So it was really weird. We opposed that, we communicated that, and likely this time there are not distinctions between the schools you're applying, okay?
So if you were penalized, even if it wasn't your fault, if you were penalized last November, you're not penalized now. So good news. And last 3 questions. Is there any news concerning unmarried couples? It seems like we are a bit the forgotten ones in reopening. Is there anything we could do to remind the Japanese government of our existence? There is some action going on, a questionnaire that will also be submitted to the relevant government people, which I will link. I need to take a note because I may forget about it. Link questionnaire for couple. So that's one thing you could do. And the other thing is that it seems that with the current border relaxations, if you're planning to get married, you may be able to enter. But this is something that is still kind of, since it just opened yesterday, you want to verify. I understand there's a lot of people that are not planning to get married, so I'm just giving you the information I have. I hope that increasing the number of entries will lead to considering tourists that are not tourists. Like you are definitely not tourists, and I think you should be prioritized for sure. But I think in terms of actions, the best it's follow up that questionnaire, which is getting a lot of attention, that I will link in the description. I shared it already on Twitter many times, but since this question came, I think through YouTube, I wanted to point it out. Can you enter Japan for a class that is 4 weeks, or do you need a visa to enter? So at the moment, if you want to get a student visa, you have to study for at least 6 months, right, or more. And so no, the answer is no, unfortunately. For working holiday visa, you may actually, depending on the school, you may actually be able to apply with 3 months. But contact NIHON for all the details, because it could depend by school or by city, etc., etc., etc. And this was the last one. Yes. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to, different from what I've been doing so far. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was helpful, first of all, because I've been pretty much going answering the questions by myself without checking the comments too much. So I want to know, first of all, if that was helpful, and then from now I'm checking the live chat. So what you can do, if I said something wrong, or if you want to double check something that I said, you can start typing the comments now. I think there is still a lot of you there. There are more than almost 200 people right now online, which means I'm not sure if I can reply to everyone, but please start asking your question. I will wait that the chat catch up with the live streaming. Thank you, Evin. Always helpful. Sebastian, yeah, okay. Thank you for getting some feedback, because yeah, I wasn't checking the live chat so far. And okay, let me see if you have questions. Ask the embassy. Yeah, I think asking the embassy is actually the most helpful thing you could do, because it also covers your specific country. Sometimes things can be slightly different. Public transport, Sankar, we discussed about it during the whole live streaming, so I suggest you to watch from the beginning. Binayak, what's the chance of Japan increasing the number of entrants? I would say we don't want to create too much expectation, but let's be positive, because there are a lot of talks and hopefully can happen soon. But we have no confirmation yet. Love from Nepal. Hi to Nepal, to all the Nepalese students, workers out there, families. Yes, Tommaso Gogonion is actually contacting everyone this week, and it takes some time because there are so many students, so many. I think it's it's several thousands. I can only tell you that, and it takes a bit of time, but we will clean up in the next few days, and you may actually get an email today or tomorrow, or may take a few more days, but all the procedure will be described for Gogonion students. Termi is saying something, a new question, so I want to read it. Do you know if we can extend our language studies beyond April 2023? This is a very good question.
This is a very good question because, for example, someone started to study online, so it's technically enrolled from, let's say, April 2021, but entered Japan only April 2022. So can we extend? So for people now in Japan, they've been able to extend for more than 2 years. In case of language students normally can extend up to 2 years. People now in Japan, because of COVID pandemic, they've been able to extend for longer. I don't know what's going to happen later, unfortunately. But we will try to get this extension an option, because at the end, you want to stay at least 2 years in Japan if you're a language student, 4 years if you're university students, right? Those who can be vaccinated can enter Japan, yes. Sorry, I so many questions. Do you know if ERFS requires the school to have your vaccine card info? I don't know that. I think you should want to ask your sponsor. If it's needed, they will ask you. Maybe they just ask general information. Maybe they want to get all the details. I think it depends also on the school. So please check with your sponsor. I have not gotten confirmation of the shipping of the COE. Then you need to check with your school, okay? Because I cannot see that when and if they ship it. I want to double check. You need a sponsor for working holiday visa. Yes. So that means I have to start looking for a job now that I'm outside Japan. Yes. Or you can also get a school, but you need to study 4 hours a day for at least, let's say, 3 months or 6 months. If you want to know more about the school application with a working holiday visa, contact Gogo NIHON. If you need to find an employer, Gogo NIHON cannot help you. You need to search by yourself. Biotech vaccination. Biotech vaccine. Sorry, maybe there is another name for biotech, but if it's not AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, with the third booster shot to be Pfizer or Moderna, you cannot be classified as booster vaccinated, but you can still come to Japan. You just follow the not boosted entries. And then several universities say they are waiting for more information from Max before applying for ERFS. What are they waiting for? I don't know, because actually the information is there. So maybe you can ask them, Alia. I know you always follow and you always share information with us in the comments of this YouTube channel. So why don't we ask the university, saying, I've seen a lot of students able to already get the ERFS, the digital certificate. What are you waiting for exactly? Maybe that can give us more information, because it could be something I don't know. So it could be that there is something else going on for universities. I'm mostly in touch with language schools, so it could be that there is something, but maybe not. So it's worth to ask. Do they send the COE until paid? Why didn't I get the invoice yet then for April? I thought the missing invoice was because the dorm was not set yet. So I think you should get an invoice. If you are a Gogo NIHON student, please ask Gogo NIHON. If you're not, ask your school. Since February COE, I think they came out. Yes. Sorry, April 2022 COEs, they came out. So you should get an invoice. Hello, Davide. If I were to pay now the school bill, where can I expect my ERFS, considering I've been doing online classes with them last year? Matteo, this I cannot tell. You should ask your school how long they think they can provide you the ERFS, because in some cases it could take just a few days, or it could take a bit longer. It depends how quick and how many students the school is processing right now. If it's a huge school, it could take a bit longer. If it's a small school, maybe it's a bit faster. You want to ask this question to them. I know Akamunkai, together with other schools, are working on the certificate. I believe that all language schools will send it by the end of this week. But if it takes longer, please let Gogo NIHON know, and we will chase the schools. Okay. So if by the end of this week you haven't received it, first thing on Monday, you can also message me and I'll have a look. Okay.
Again, immigration direction, I don't know. We should ask universities what they mean. Sorry, I don't have this information. Yeah, we can start the accommodation process very soon. Chris, Gogonion will start the accommodation process very soon. You will receive an email from us in the next few working days. We are sending it to students as I'm talking here, but obviously there are many waiting students. There is no preference or, believe me, it's just an order of things. So it just takes a few days for that. How long does it take to receive the COE? Has it been delayed? Not for April. I think COEs are currently, maybe it depends on the city. Sorry, I may have said something wrong about the COEs. I don't have the dates with me right now. I'll try to ask while I'm doing this live streaming to don't make any mistake. I think COE is a very important. Let's see if I can get this information during live streaming. Because COEs are issued also by local immigration. So Japan has immigration offices in each prefecture. So there is the Kanto immigration, there is the Kansai immigration, there is the Kyushu immigration, etc. So also the date of issuance changes. So maybe I've heard that the Tokyo already, but maybe another city are not ready. Right. So I'm checking. Okay, BioNTech Pfizer. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you very much. So if you have 3 shots of Pfizer or 2 shots of Pfizer and 1 of Moderna as a booster shot, these kind of things are okay. Sorry, I should have prepared more about vaccines. Who would have told me that I was going to, study about entry procedures and vaccination for a year? I want to do something else very soon. But of course, until everyone is in, I will continue, of course. There is no priority. Thank you. Yeah, thank you all of you for, hi, Christopher. Thanks for the interview the other day. Just the manufacturer. Thanks for sharing this information. How about AstraZeneca? So if you have the first 2 doses can be AstraZeneca, but the 3rd dose can only be Pfizer, BioNTech Pfizer, or Moderna. Thank you, Nikki. Thanks a lot, Matt, also for the BioNTech Pfizer thing. I am from India. Can I book accommodation with Gogonion? I think accommodation is okay. Sorry, for student application, since we don't know about application procedures specifically for India, we don't have Indian staff at the moment. Immigration rules are different. We are not covering, for example, every nationality. That's why we don't support students to apply to language schools with Gogonion from India, for example. However, for accommodation, it should be okay. Please inquire us through our website. I hope I'm not wrong. And Nikki, I really hope we can help you and every other Indian student. Chocola, yeah, I don't know which one. Information, we should ask them. I did, okay. It is. I did ask my university, said that the other students are getting information. They just replied they're still waiting for direction. But we need to understand what direction is. I think now it makes me very curious about it. But I don't have direct contact with university, so I cannot ask as a person living in Japan. Only students can ask them. Quarantine measure procedure, King Mayora, but they are mostly out. So maybe they need to find their accommodation. They need to set up their dormitory, but at least they should say that, right? So we know what's the problem. Probably complicated answer. Do you think it makes sense to search for a job now, or the current situation is still not suitable and employers are not ready to sponsor workers? I mean, Japan is dying for getting foreign workforce. You have no idea. Like, they're desperate to get engineers, especially Alex. I think you're an engineer, right? So apply. Good luck. If I want to book a share house, which is affiliated with Gogonion, should I ask my coordinator now? Yes. Sorry, Yarod. You can ask your coordinator, yes. But also you get an email. We are starting to get application for accommodation in the next few days. So either ways, you will be okay. We will cover all Gogonion students. You will have a place to stay. Don't worry. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for your support. I know, Aris. Patient. I use patient word. I promise myself to don't use it. I use patient word, I think, once today. It's really the worst word possible for all of you waiting.
I apologize for that. But what I mean is that we are, for what concern Gogo NIHON and what I see language schools, we are working very hard to make sure everyone can enter as soon as possible. So that's what I wanted to say. But I know that this should not take any, I really don't want this to take any more day for anyone. Indians can book accommodation for Gogo NIHON. Nikki, I think so. Thanks, David. You're a god for us. Thank you, Tommaso. I don't quite understand the government facility quarantine process for those coming from designated countries. Do I need to quarantine at one of these and then another 40 days at a hotel? So if you are able to get a negative PCR test at the third day, I think you're free to go. So, Rudy, it's pretty straightforward. You don't even have to book the PCR test because government will provide for you. So just make sure you don't get COVID and everything will be smooth. You don't have to pay for the hotel. You don't have to pay for the PCR test. So yeah, 3 days is not too bad. I mean, obviously 3 days in the hotel is not going to be the most fun, but I think they're really trying to do good things now in Japan. Like November was a shit show. Sorry for the word, but it was a really shit show. It was awful. It was terrible. It was unprofessional. But I think now they're doing much better. I'm positive. I received the ERFS from a school, but I'm no longer sure I will be at the address I gave them. Yeah, no, it's temporary, but inform your sponsor. So no, you don't have to redo the ERFS. Tell your school you have changed your accommodation and they will update it for you. But you need to always inform your sponsor if your flight changes, if your accommodation changes, always tell them. Okay. Oh, the mouse skipped us a lot of messages. Sorry. I will thank you for the sorry, I don't know where I was. I think I'm going to skip some. I was trying to read all of them, but Marty, hi Davide, when would you need to apply for the? You can. If I don't answer your question in 1-2 minutes, it means by mistake I skip it. You can write it again. Hi Davide, when would you need to apply to the fall semester? Can it happen again that they close the borders before the fall semester? So no one knows. No one knows about what the government will do and what's going to happen with the coronavirus situation. So no one can promise you anything, unfortunately. Only if I were the prime minister, I could promise, right? But I'm not a prime minister. So I cannot promise, and no one, the schools cannot promise you anything. What we can do, we can try to process everything as soon as possible. We can try to make sure that the people that wanna come in October come. We can do actions, and we can raise awareness about the situation of foreigners waiting to enter Japan to avoid that the borders closed. We can all do all of it, and I will keep doing it. But there is no guarantee. I really hope that's not going to happen again at the borders closed, right? But I cannot promise 100% that's going to happen or not. All of the documents that you showed at the beginning of the stream, will you be adding them to the video description? Yes, that's the goal. No, not right now, because I was preparing this video. Since things are very busy at Gogo NIHON, we have to get back to students and prepare all the next steps. I've been basically just finished to prepare for this Q&A a minute before the Q&A started. So I prepared the links, but I didn't really write them nice in the description. So when I finish this, please come back and you will find them in the description. Tell me, you will get a message about the accommodation process in the next few working days. So hopefully by Friday, if not very early next week. And yes, we do private apartments. We also offer private apartments. Thanks for the answer. Ask your universities. I don't know each school why they do or why they don't. Give information. Wong Mang, if I come from designated country with booster and my school is in Sapporo, can I fly from Tokyo to Hokkaido and do my 7 days isolation at my own Hokkaido house since I land in Japan? Yes. Within 24 hours, you can take any transportation, including a direct flight. Make sure that you flight right away, though. Okay, so your domestic flight should be a few hours after you arrive. Not too close, because you still have to do the PCR test. It takes some time, so maybe 5-6 hours. You stay in the airport and then you can fly, something like that.
Yeah, you need to verify those timing things, right? Any chance Japan embassy will reject our visa? I think if the paperwork is okay, no. If everything is okay, no. I haven't heard about any problem. I mean, we're just starting now to process visas, but right now I don't see any chance. But if something happened, deploy, I will let everyone know. Termi, thank you very much for your support. I'll do my best. I think there is a huge gap of communication and information between the government here and foreigners actually that need to know what's necessary to enter Japan, this country, which shouldn't be the case. Most of the communication done is towards welcome institutions, which is important, but it's not towards people that needs to use immigration services to enter Japan. That's why I'm doing this. I think there is a huge gap. Unfortunately, I think it's necessary. I hope it wasn't necessary so I could do other things that I like more. I don't like this at all. I don't like talking about Japan travel ban. I don't like asking for borders to open. Really not nice, believe me. I mean, I know you believe me because you don't like it too. Does the CEO issuance date has anything to do with ERFS certificate? My university maintains that it doesn't. It does, but I cannot find this info anywhere. Do you know someone? I think they just need to know the COE info. I don't think it's connected. I don't understand exactly what they're worried about. And there is no priority. That's been said clearly by Japan. So shouldn't be connected. Unless the university, since they cannot process everyone at the same time, they choose internally to process people by COE issuance. That's a possibility. The sponsor could choose anything they like. Yeah. Is Arbeit available only to, sorry, this chat is not working well. Sometimes when I get too many questions, I think it just skip to the end. So I missed some of them, sorry. You just re-ask the question, okay? Is Arbeit available only to work in spheres like restaurants, convenience, etc.? I can, for example, work a startup for 28 hours a week. IT-related fields, I think it should be okay, but again, this is kind of technical question. There are some works like night bars, these kind of works that are not allowed as a student. But I think a normal job like that is fine. But please check with your sponsor school and find like maybe also your employer, who wants to hire you. Double check with them; they are more qualified than me. Shito's airport is open. The airport is working, but I don't think it's the one included in the list of airport you can fly in with from abroad, right? So you're not going to have international flights, as far as I know. Things can change all the time, Share. Yeah, I will add the documents, all the links I will add. Working holiday visa, we spoke a lot about the streaming, about working holiday visa, actually, Daniela. And yes, they need a sponsor. It could be a school or it could be a company. Okay, if you need a school, contact Gogonion. We will give you more information. Do we know how often they change designated noise in the country? No, we don't know. That's a very good question. But I think it depends how the virus goes. Hopefully, more and more will get out the list. So it's smoother for every boosted entries, no quarantine, or you can quarantine at your place of your choice. And I think that will also help to increase the number, right? Because one reason why we have this 5,000 people limit, I don't think is the only reason, but one reason is the fact that the number of hotels are limited. So less countries in designated countries, I think more people can enter Japan. That's my personal thought, but I wanted to share it. I suggest to buy a flexible book flight. I think you have two options here. It's very hard for me to see the future. One is to at least wait to get an appointment with the embassy and to your local Japanese embassy, and from them when you will be able to get the visa. So at least you can kind of guess around when you can go, or you just get a refundable ticket. But again, usually are more expensive, the flexible flights, and also things like what happened now with Russia are absolutely unpredictable. So you may have chosen an airlines if you're a European that actually doesn't fly to Japan, and you need to make change anyway. But so it has to be also flexible and also refundable just in case. Okay, I'm going to do this until 8, okay? So 15 more minutes of Q&A. I think 2 hours is my biological limit for a live session. I really start to get tired at some point. It's not easy to talk for so long, but I'm really happy to to share this with all of you. I think you've been supporting so much this year. It been thanks to all the support that we got so far, right? So I want to give as much as possible, and I think from the amount of questions received, the amount of people here in the chat, I think this is very, very helpful. So I'm very happy to do, but just, I think at around 8 o'clock, I want to, I'm not going to be able to be so much. I'm going to start saying wrong things or crazy stuff. So let's do other 15 minutes. If I'm boosted with Pfizer from designated country, do I have to book private transport? No, you can go with, you can move with public transportation. Nepal not give visa on student. They are too lazy. It could be also, Manisha, that they have so many applications at the same time. I think there is a lot of students from Nepal, and maybe all together they are applying now, when normally you get maybe, I don't know, 1,000 people together, like I said before, right? But now you get 100,000 people together. So I think there's also that to consider. Thank you for your support, Evin. And again, questions about Pfizer. UK, 3 shots of Pfizer. Yeah, you can leave the quarantine if you test negative on the 3rd day. No, self-test. I think it's going to be some specific test. You cannot take any test. Check with your sponsor which test is necessary. Subenya, thank you for the helpful stream. What's the bottleneck for 5,000 entries a day? We discussed at the beginning of the stream. Please go back to the beginning. At the beginning of the Q&A, I think about after 30 minutes, I talk about what we know so far. At around 30 minutes, we discuss in details about it. Changing terminals, I'm not sure. This information, I'm not sure. But technically, 24 hours, you can take any public transformation. So actually, no. Let me take that back. Within 24 hours of your arrival, you can take. If you don't have to go to government facility, in that case, you need to follow the government. They will bring you to the facility. But if you can quarantine at your location, you can change terminal. You can take a train. You can take Shinkansen. You can take a domestic flight. You can take Yamanote line. That's what we know so far. Yes, PCR test is needed even if you have booster shot at arrival. Yeah. Yes, Pianshu. Nepal, 20,000 students, 2020 April. I hope, Manisha, you get processed right away. I'm really sorry to hearing that, but 20,000 students is a lot of students. So that's also why probably they're so slow. Yeah, it's a lot of students. Can I start looking for an apartment without having my flight yet? Yes. I think it's a good idea, as much as, the receiving accommodation is flexible, or, if you want to book it later on, make sure everything is flexible. If you want to move early, flexibility is important, right? If you want to be sure, then, you can wait and maybe you will know exactly the date you arrive. So it's up to you. Yes, the ERFS is created is received by the sponsor, Chris Marcy, is received by the sponsor, and they send it to you after they receive it. So you don't have to apply as an individual. Okay, I'm gonna skip a little bit down because otherwise I don't see the latest one. Thank you, Niall. Yeah, my Japanese language schools say that ERFS takes 10-15 minutes. Yes, it takes maybe that short, but then you still need to wait the response from, so it may take, let's say, 30 minutes, 1 hour.
But then you need to multiply per the number of students that the school are waiting. So if a school has 1,000 students, that's why probably it's taking a bit longer, right? But I think if the school told you that they will send you right away, you can move on and pay the fees for the COE. How many days we will get the passport return after submitting the passport to the embassy? That depends on each embassy abroad. Each embassy has their own timing, so you want to ask your own embassy. What's next for you? Will you consider starting an independent political party? Absolutely not, Sebastian. You have my vote. Okay, thanks. But foreigners cannot vote. So, I mean, you're going to be a very sad party. Everyone who wants to vote me will not be able to vote. So, no, really, I want to talk about it actually in one of my videos. I want to talk about what's positive about this travel ban. Let me explain, because it sounds really weird what I'm trying to say. Thanks to the Japan travel ban, what I was be able to learn, what I was be able to do that I would have not learned, I would have not practiced without it. For example, in my case, thanks to the Japan travel ban, I improved the way I can talk in front of a camera, because obviously with all so many videos, I have practiced a lot and I have improved. Before I did video for Gogonion, I did videos for Gogonion before, right? I've been doing videos here and then. And usually live videos were okay. I don't really mind to just improvise. You know, I'm not improvising now. Now I prepare because it's important information. But what I mean, live videos, I think I've been doing okay. But when there was to record even a 30 seconds message, even if I had the script in front of me, simple, like what's my name and things I should know, my name, my age, I couldn't do it. I just spent hours to say one sentence because I got just nervous and I missed it, and the tone of my voice, I mistake the grammar in English, and many problems. I think now if I have to redo it again, I will be much better, and I'm happy about it because it's something I need for my work, and it's something I wanted to be able to do it. Like I don't want to be like that bad, and I wanted to ask everyone. I'm not asking now. If you want to say in the live chat, it's perfectly fine. But I want to make a separate content for it. I want to ask, what do you think you have improved thanks to the Japan travel ban? What have you done in the past year or two that you would have not done it if you were going to Japan? We're actually thankful for this to happen. I think everyone has got some story, right? I heard a person that took a real estate license waiting for it, right? I mean, that's good, right? It's more qualification. But yeah, definitely not starting independent political party. No, wouldn't make sense. No votes. I cannot get votes. Okay, let me see here. Thanks, but the Gogonion site say you can't recommend me any location without my flight information. How can I get a recommendation? You can put a temporary date. You can put a temporary date and Panda Beige. You can put a temporary date and then write in the comment it's a temporary date. I think everyone understands that. My term as Shinjuku Nihongo is supposed to start April 5th. If I get my visa only a few days before, a few days after my start date, will I have to push my start date? You need to ask your school. Your school will have different procedures. I believe most of the schools, especially Shinjuku Nihongo, which I know very well, will be flexible for students, okay? But I cannot talk for them. Someone, Jägermeister? Yeah. Yeah, Jägermeister would be nice now. Actually, maybe not. Maybe it's not a good idea. Okay, that's why Jägermeister came out. I was reading from the bottom. I just my eyes spot Jägermeister. I say, oh wow. No, but actually the question, what's your favorite meal so I can treat you once we are in Japan? And then Jägermeister, like a meal. We have a meal of Jägermeister. Okay. Yeah, doing political activism in Japan must have been an interesting experience. For sure. I think that's another thing that I would mention. I've done things that I would have never done if things were going smoothly as they were going before with my work. So sometimes, being in a difficult position puts you out of your comfort zone, and that's where you learn new skills. Like I had no idea how to deal with this situation, how to reach a newspaper, how to talk with politicians in Japan, how things work here. But then, I figured it out. So I hope I don't need it in the future. But if in the future something happens, I will not take 1 year to figure it out. I will take much less. Silvia, in Italy, a lot of people got COVID. So we have 2 doses only because once we got COVID. I think this could be shared also with other countries. That will count as not unvaccinated, not boosted, which for the rules we have now, not boosted, it's everyone else. So if you are not vaccinated, if you have 1 dose, if you have 2 doses, then you will have to follow a little bit more strict pattern, but you can still go to Japan. I think the difference is not that big, actually. Thanks to the Japan travel ban, I watched One Piece entire collection twice, improved my Japanese listening, and I got a lot more patient. Yeah, absolutely. Patience, I think everyone has, sorry, I said I shouldn't say this word, but it came out in a nice and funny way. I think everyone has learned how to be patient, right? After this. That could be a skill we're going to use. I think it's going to be hard for us to lose our temper with small problems after all this we went through, right? Thank you, Panda. ISI no limiting when you can enter in April. So some schools already communicated that there is no limit to enter until the end of April. Great. But I believe all the schools will eventually be flexible. This in the country plus Brussels, can I take public transport to my own house for self-isolation? Yes, Wong. Yes. When I can enter, I discussed about this during the beginning of the video to Petrography. It's impossible to say the exact date. We will not know. Just move as fast as you can, and hopefully you can enter soon. But there is no way to give an exact date. Because of the ban, I'm studying. I like how the chat is becoming nice, with everyone telling in the chat what positive happened thanks to the Japan travel ban, and what you have done that you would have not done if you, for example, went to Japan right away. So I started it saying a few minutes ago, and then some of you are commenting. It's really nice. Because of the ban, I'm studying IT, already certified in a few coding languages. Very good. And I also create hyper-realistic art now. I invested in the drawing tablet and everything. I really love it. Fantastic. That's the way to put it. Let's focus on the positive. Sometimes things we cannot control, but what we can control is like having a plan B and doing something on the side. Also, exercising, lost almost 10 kilos. Fantastic. Congratulations. Very well done, Ayo. Yeah, unless you are from a non-designated country, not being boosted isn't much difference. Yeah. I really want to meet with you and say thank you for your work. Manish, I will try to get a meetup or something, okay? When the majority of you are in Japan, maybe even more than one, because maybe not all of you are coming at the same time. We will have the chance to meet, okay? I'll think something. What happens if test positive prior to flight? Can you still travel and quarantine Japan then? I don't think so. If you're, if you get positive between the negative test, so basically if they find you positive in the airport, I think you just been brought at a specific quarantine facility until you recover from corona. But if you find yourself positive before flying with a PCR test 72 hours before, I think you cannot fly. But that's pretty much all over the world. It's not about Japan, right? Reza, we discussed about airports that are working at the beginning of the stream. Please watch, but there are also other airports available. Yeah, thank you someone for mentioning it. Haneda, Narita, Nagoya, Kansai, Fukuoka. Sinovac plus Pfizer, unfortunately, you will you qualify as not boosted. You can still enter, and you can still do a PCR test. That is, if it's negative after 3 days, you can get out. Full year up in front or just a semester depends on the on the school or specific situation. So please double check with Google NIHON if you are Google students or with the school. Okay, so if you use Google NIHON, most of the time a semester is okay. Yeah. Arigato, Dai-chan. Thank you, Devin. Matt, I used the time to almost finish my book about Japan travel. Wow, you should share with us when it's ready. Yeah. How far? You need to be in Japan, of course, to finish it. Okay, makes sense. Good. I wish you to be in Japan soon and finish soon. Savvy from yesterday, save a lot of money. Okay, that's good. It's good. I'll be near GPT N4 instead of N5. So at least you can start from in Angel. At least you can start from a higher level. Because of the ban, I got a promotion. I learned so much. Okay, awesome, Lani. But could also save more money to enjoy my time in Japan. Nice. Billy, in summary, I went through the list of things to do at the beginning of the video. You can rewatch it. I will also add in the description the link from the official Ministry of Health website that says what needs to be done before departing. Okay, so after I finish this video, which I will finish very soon, you can check the description and you can find the links. Yeah, Patrick, you can take connecting domestic flights. Thank you, Firanish. Sorry if I don't pronounce the name right. And I think, as mentioned, I wanted to finish around 8 o'clock. It's been 2 hours of streaming, a lot of question and answers. Michi, hey, perfect timing. Thanks to just making me wait. I was able to study and acquire a national qualification called, I was called. You're testing my Japanese after 2 hours of streaming. What is it about? It's about real estate. You too? Oh, wow. I just spoke with another person about real estate. Wonderful, Michi. So you're going to set up something, and hopefully many foreigners, many students can stay there. Make a nice place for foreigners. Jensen, still need to quarantine? Yes. Johnson & Johnson, Jensen, you still to quarantine. Yes. Sorry, if I keep looking to the questions, I will never stop. But let's do this. Let's. So thanks a lot for participating. It was a long stream. I hope I replied to most of the doubts. More questions will come. So at the end of the streaming, if I didn't reply to your questions, or if you just came up after I ended up the streaming, why don't you write the questions in the comment? If you have any questions, why don't you write in the comments so I can reply? I can check the comments and reply to the comments. Thanks a lot, all of you, for watching. Thank you very much for all your support. As always, please subscribe. If you came here through this live streaming for the first time, if you're not subscribed yet, I will very much appreciate it if you can subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter as well. I think it's the best way to say thank you to me. If you can share and like these videos that I do. Thanks as always for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Mata ne!